owing something. That's what's nuts. There's always some new law that's passed, some new insane thing that California's doing.
Yeah.
And it's like a giant chunk of it's happening in California. The most preposterous things that I get.
Yeah.
And then you got Gavin Newsom, who's running around saying we all have California derangement syndrome. He's just like ripping off Trump derangement and calling it California derangement. It's like, no. The fucking, how many corporations have left California?
It's crazy. Though.
Hundreds.
Yes.
Right? Hundreds.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Not Chick-fil-A. I think In-N-Out left.
Yeah, In-N-Out left. They moved to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, we can't do this anymore.
Right.
It's the California company for food. It's like the greatest hamburger place ever.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually, speaking of like just sort of open source and like looking at things openly, like I just like going In-N-Out and seeing them make the burger.
Yeah, it's right there.
They chop the onions and they it's you just see everything getting made in front of you.
Yeah.
It's great. But yeah, it should be like how many wake-up calls do you need to say that needs to be reformed in California?
Well, the crazy thing that Newsom does is whenever someone brings up the problems in California, he starts rattling off all the positives. The most Fortune 500 companies, highest education. But yeah, that was all already there before you were governor.
But how many Fortune 500 companies have left California?
Right. And then you guys spent $24 billion on the homeless, and it got way worse.
Yes. So like the whole population doubled or something. If people don't understand like the homeless thing, because it sort of preys on people's empathy, and I think we should have empathy, and we should try to help people. But the homeless industrial complex is really it's dark, man. It should be that network of NGOs should be called like the drug zombie farmers, because the more homeless people and really like when you meet like somebody who's like totally dead inside, shuffling along down the street with a needle dangling out of their leg. Homeless is the wrong word. Like homeless implies that somebody got a little behind in their mortgage payments, and if they just got a job offer, they'd be back on their feet. But someone who's, you see these videos of people that are just shuffling. They're on fentanyl. They're like, taking a dump in the middle of the street. And they got like open sores and stuff. They're not like one drop offer away from getting back on their feet.
Right. This is not a homeless issue.
Homeless is it's a propaganda word.
Right.
So, and then the these sort of charities in quotes they get money proportionate to the number of homeless people or number of drug zombies.
Right.
So their incentive structure is to maximize the number of drug zombies, not minimize it.
Right.
That's why they don't arrest the drug dealers. Because if they arrest the drug dealers, the drug zombies leave. So they know who the drug dealers are. They don't arrest them on purpose. Because otherwise the drug zombies would leave and they would stop getting money from the state of California and from all the charities.
Wait a minute, so
it's dark, man.
Is that real? So they're in coordination with law enforcement on this?
Yeah.
So how do they have those meetings?
They're all in cahoots.
Well, when you find
this is a diabolical scam. And San Francisco's got this tax, this gross receipts tax, which it's not even on revenue; it's on all transactions, which is why Stripe and Square and a whole bunch of financial companies had to move out of San Francisco because it wasn't a tax on revenue; it's a tax on transactions. So if you do like trillions of dollars transactions, it's not revenue. You're taxed on any money going through the system in San Francisco. Like Jack Dorsey pointed this out, they said like that they had to move Square from San Francisco to Oakland, I think. Stripe had to move from San Francisco to South San Francisco, a different city, and that money goes to the homeless industrial complex. That tax that was passed. So there's billions of dollars that go, as you pointed out, that billions of dollars every year that go to these non-governmental organizations that are funded by the state. Like it's not clear how to turn this off. It's a self-licking ice cream cone situation. So they get this money. The money is proportionate to the number of homeless people or number of drug zombies, essentially. So they try to keep that. They try to actually increase because that like in some cases, like it's somebody did an analysis when you add up all the money that's flowing, they're getting close to $1 million per homeless per drug zombie. It's like $900,000, something like some crazy amount of money is going to these organizations. So so they want to keep people just barely alive. They need to keep them in the area so they get the revenue. So that's why, like I said, they don't arrest the drug dealers because otherwise the drug zombies would leave. But they don't want to have too much. If they have too much drugs, then they die. So they're kept in this sort of perpetual zone of being addicted, but just barely alive.
So how is this coordinated with like DAs?
Yeah.
That they'll prosecute people.
Yeah.
So when they hire or they push, so they fund the campaigns of the most progressive, most out there left wing DAs. They get them into office.
We've got that issue in Austin too, by the way. Did you see that guy that got shot in the library?
No.
So yeah, a guy got shot and killed in the library.
Yeah, so I'm from California, so In-N-Out is fire. For In-N-Out to move out of California is just, like Elon said, like, how many more wake-up calls do you need? That'd be like the New York Stock Exchange moving cities. Yeah, Elon hit it right on the head. I mean, most people don't even know about the charities that are involved in all these homeless programs. Specifically about the number of homeless and the money they receive, like Elon just said, like, if you have a certain amount of homeless people, then you get a certain amount of money. But if you reduce the amount of homeless people in that area, then you're going to receive less money. So it's actually in these companies' best interest to get more homeless people so that they get more funding. And obviously that funding's not going to stop homeless if it just keeps increasing. And California's been having this issue forever. Gavin Newsom campaigned on this. He said, I'm going to end the homeless. It's only doubled. So everyone can kind of see that. I mean, the people that live in California might not be able to. They might be brainwashed. But, the rest of the country can see this. And thankfully Elon, kind of mentioned this, because when people think that like just giving money to these homeless programs is going to solve it, they're not counting in the middleman, the charities that, the money doesn't just go from one place to another. It goes in a few different hands, you could say, before it reaches the homeless. And obviously that money doesn't go to the homeless or anything beneficial to them, because if you look at California alone, I mean, this is a perfect example. It's literally doubled since Newsom took office, and that was kind of the main thing he ran on. He ran on some other things, obviously, but, this is just who these people are. And, people need to realize that it's the same thing in New York City. They have a huge homeless problem, but it's the same situation. And, even if they get some federal funding, like that money's just going to go to the charities who are going to determine how much money they give to you, because that all determines on how many homeless people you have in that area. So it's a huge scandal. And like Elon said, there's really no way to turn it off. Maybe the best way to stop this is exposure, but it's kind of hard because there's always going to be homeless people. It's not like this is a issue we can solve and like directly end homelessness, especially with corrupt leadership. So, and these charities, they want to keep the money flowing too. These non-profit charities that are getting all this money and keeping it. Yeah, California's crazy. They literally doubled their homelessness using this program that Gavin Newsom is so proud of. So it's a huge scandal. And if we could just, I don't know how to turn it off. Maybe we can regulate the homeless programs more. I mean, I would hate to say more regulation on anything, but it's just to a point where, we're spending all this money, even tax money, to give directly to these programs which only increases homeless. The literal opposite thing that they gave them money to do. But that's usually the case in California for most programs. It's not just homelessness. A lot of programs in California, they basically use the money, and they use it for the opposite of their initial intentions. Or it just goes straight into their pockets. But yeah, thank you, Elon, for at least saying this, because people think it's just like black and white. You give money to a homeless program, they're supposed to end homeless. There's a lot of middlemen, there's a lot of people in between that want to keep the money flowing. Because if you have like 10,000 homeless in one area, you receive a certain amount of money. Let's just say in a couple years, you actually do a good job and you decrease homeless. Let's say you got 5,000 now. You cut it in half. Well, now you're only going to get half of the money you originally got. And again, greedy is just, everyone's greedy. And so a lot of these charities that they proclaim are just so great. They just want the money. And I don't even need to tell you that, but it's interesting when you think of it from the perspective that Elon said. Like, people don't think about it that way. And it's the truth. That's what's happening specifically in California. So, whatever you see in California is what you would get in the whole country if Newsom somehow won the election, which we all know he's running, let's be honest. So, huge problem. California's been exposed for this before, but, here we are again. So, yeah, California, you might want to get your stuff together because people are kind of waking up to this. So, thought it was interesting.